Crimson Desert has been an amazing spectacle. But above everything else, honestly, it has been an experience. An eye opening one at that. And honestly, we do not get in the modern influencer landscape where all the journalists are fake and wrong always about, where the players don't know what they want and the YouTubers always are on the right side of history. It has definitely been an eye-opening spectacle in the sense that Crimson Desert showed us how many people are afraid to give their opinions about the situation because they can't figure out which way the wind is blowing? Are the journalists finally right? Of course they aren't. Everyone who watched this channel a week ago knew what's happening with the Crimson Desert review scores and is the game actually good or bad. But a lot of other people didn't. And they were afraid to say it because they didn't want to be on the wrong side of history. And I personally find that absolutely hilarious.
So Crimson Desert, in case you hadn't noticed, has come out. It has released. And the whole thing regarding the game from the moment that reviews came out to now has been a complete mess, although a very interesting one. For starters, reviews were incredibly polarized. They were people either loving the game and giving it 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, and people straight up giving it 4s and 5s. After that, once the game was in people's hands, a lot of the players started complaining about the game, saying that it was very bad. And then a lot of people came out of the woodwork, which I'm pretty confident in saying they had not played the game like at all, started saying that it was terrible. I have seen many people over the last 3 or 4 days say that Crimson Desert is one of the worst games they've ever played, which
I have not seen these players, these people at all, by the way. I have no idea what we're talking about here. There are people who dislike Crimson Desert because they were convinced that there's gonna be a Red Dead Redemption style story. There are people who dislike Crimson Desert because they should be living life on governmental assistance because they are below 80 IQ, who cannot, for the life of them, get used to the controls, even though they once already have been improved. And they dislike the game, but everyone else was pretty happy with it.
just shows you that they've lived a very sheltered life. After that, very quickly people realized that there was AI usage in the game. Very bad AI usage, like the type that is incredibly obvious and very low quality, as in immediately easy to spot.
Nice.
And if, players can spot it, you would have guessed that the developers would have too. And that, of course, the game had not disclosed on Steam its AI usage, leading to a wave of refunds and complaints, and then the developer addressing those.
I have no idea where the waves of complaint. Well, there were people who were complaining about AI because obviously, if you have the choice, do you want AI or you don't, you're a fool to say you do. Without exceptions, by the way, you're a fool. AI will make everything worse. It's not good enough, and chances are, honestly, at this rate, it will never be good enough. But where is the wave of people who are refunding Crimson Desert because of AI use? I didn't see it. I looked at the graphs. The graphs didn't show it. It was not there. Yeah, sure, there's a bunch of people who do hate AI, but I mean, most people on Reddit probably didn't buy the game anyway, so what does Reddit's opinion honestly even matter?
Those AI things and saying that they were going to patch them out, which it's really easy to just look at it and say, oh, well, that's because you got caught. And so the discourse has continued. It's mixed reviews on Steam now climbing to very positive. A lot of people's comments about it.
They have been very positive for, I don't know, how many days now? 4, 5?
Changing. One of the main reasons being that the developers, Pearl Abyss, have responded to the situation by patching the game significantly, putting in a lot of changes, a lot of quality of life stuff, and really listening to some of the feedback regarding the game and some of its problems.
They did patch it, but that's kind of an overblown exaggeration of how much changes we're talking about here.
And the game by no means is doing poorly. It's actually up to 3 million sales already, which is quite a lot, especially for a new IP. But still, the general discourse surrounding the game seems to be that you are either supposed to hate it and it's the worst slopification of video games, a copy of better games with no soul that manages to do nothing. I even saw...
Yeah, that sounds about right for the IGN take right there. That probably sounds right for the PC Gamer take right there, okay? Oof. And also, no one taught this. Again, the filtering of players was extremely average IQ distribution bell curve based, okay? The people at the wrong side got yeeted and deleted, and they were not happy. Now, needless to say, while I do not exactly respect those people, they still have a right to be angry, and I cannot take that away from them, even though I think their complaints are the definitely lowest in the battle.
Specific games journalist out there say that it was the most soulless game they had ever played, that it was the
Wait, who said this? I forgot at this point. It probably was like IGN again.
definition of content for content's sake, a conclusion they reached after playing it for, I believe, 3 hours. And I've also seen people defending it very aggressively with arguments that I also do not agree with. What's clear here is that the middle is very much not here. And I unfortunately am not going to help with that too much, because in this video, I'm going to break down a lot of those complaints, a lot of the details of the stuff going on, my personal opinion on some of it, and what the wider impact of some of these things are with such a big...
Why is every YouTuber's gameplay just the Red Devil?
You know,
not the Red Devil, but the Reed Devil, you know, the one with the totems.
Very public release, mainstream release. But also, once we're done analyzing that, I want to give my impressions on the game after putting in about 35 hours. And spoilers, I really like Crimson Desert. I think it's really good. I think some of the stuff in it, like the whole AI thing, pretty damn bad, pretty unforgivable.
Oh no, it's the boss that literally filtered DSP because it was made to do so. DSP. He got filtered by this boss. He played it for 20 minutes and he was like, the best part, by the way, was about the dark side getting filtered by this boss. I showed the clip once. I honestly should have. If I knew that this was here, I would have shown it again because it's such a great one. Because his crash out, his like, no, this is too hard. I'm old. It's just made so better because it's like the boss doesn't even do anything. Like a DSP goes, attacks him, and I'm not even sure did he fail to do what he wanted to do. He hits the boss and then he moves away and he's like, no, I'm out. This game's too much. This game's too hard. It was such a spectacle.
When it comes to talking about the game and my enjoyment of it, I really like it for many reasons beyond trying to defend it or something. Like, I have concrete reasons that I think that what Crimson Desert is doing is objectively very impressive from a game design standpoint. And this might come as a shock to some people on social media, but reviews as well as impressions and of course opinions are subjective. And while being subjective, I can really like the game and still criticize.
But we like them more when they look objective.
Some of the things about it that I think are flawed, that are mistakes, some of them that are being patched probably as we speak. I can really like the game and I can also not recommend it to most people, which is probably where I'm leaning towards if you really want.
That already is a bad take, honestly, because Crimson Desert is not a game that 10 people bought. It's a game that sold 3 million copies, which means the aggregate score for Crimson Desert means that you can recommend this very safely to 3 out of 4 people. At this point, almost like 4 out of 5 people. And that's gonna be and it's the 4 out of 5 people are gonna absolutely love it. That's where we are at here.
The impression spoilers, that's kind of where I sit right now. And I can really like the game and also strongly criticize stuff like the AI use, all of that. But the point is, this is a crazy, interesting situation that's happening surrounding this game. and I'm all in to talk about it. By the way, hi, I'm Mug, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. It's great to see you. You are looking quite dashing, if I am allowed to say
so
that.
nice.
You know how it works. If at any point you like the video, hit the like button because that helps.
No, that's BS. You just like the video right now because it takes less than a second. You greatly help me out, and you put all the Crimson Desert haters in the wrong corner. It's great.
The video spread, reach more people out there. And if you really like the way that I cover news, reviews, and everything in the way I do, that is, Let's and its launch
Jesus
and everything
Christ.
regarding it started with the reviews being incredibly divisive. Arguably, you could say that it started a bit before that when the hype for the game reached a fever pitch that I have not seen in a while. I even made a video covering that hype and warning people to please be careful, not because I thought the game would be bad.
The hype was big, yeah. It was absolutely too big.
Quite the contrary, I thought the game would 100% be for me, and I was right. But because it looked like a game that wasn't going to resonate with a lot of people that maybe looked at it and on the surface imagined this to be a certain type of game, and then it wasn't. So when you combine that kind of coming true even with reviewers, and then getting those mixed reviews, it was the talk of the town that actually it was the greatest flop ever. You know, we started getting Concord and High
Encore? What? I have not heard any of that.
Guard memes, but for a single player game, which is like, that doesn't even make sense anymore, but okay. So already that
It makes a lot of sense. Concord is not a game. Concord has transcended common knowledge. Concord is something that fails spectacularly, and it is expected to fail by every single normal person who sees it. Except the developers who are somehow convinced that they are making the next GTA 6. That is what Concord is. Concord was what it was in our hearts all along, at the end of the day.
was off to some interesting races. From there, though,
Also, I have not heard anyone call this Concord. There were some stupid tweets from some people who are known lives in communities that Crimson Desert somehow failed because they don't know how to look at the player count.
things didn't really improve. A lot of people started playing the game and immediately disliked it for one reason or another, the most common one being the control scheme and how controls work, which again, I said that in my video from when I played it. Tons of previews said it. Like, we'll discuss this more when we talk about the patches, but just like it was there. But also a lot of complaints about the story and the characters and it being boring, or the quest design, the game being slow, feeling padded, all sorts of criticisms that led to some pretty harsh reviews and harsh words from people. It's also led
How do you pad an open world game that technically allows you to go anywhere you want?
to one of the main defense forces that I'm going to talk about. You know, we're going kind of chronologically here, which was the game is ass for the first 8 hours, which I think is a stupid defense force. If a game is ass for the equivalent of an entire workday in order for it to
Yeah, that's the Starfield, the defense. Oh, it gets fun in New Game Plus. Oh, it gets fun 20 hours in. Oh, really? I only have to suffer for 20 hours. How neat.
get good, it is not worth your money or your time. Let's be honest about that. There's plenty of people who will jump at this and say, but like, what about JRPGs that don't even introduce some of their combat mechanics until 20 hours in? Well, the point of those is that they usually have a grandiose story to keep you along until it starts opening up, which I'm gonna buck the.
I mean, JRPGs means Japanese role-playing game. It's very different than Crimson Desert.
Internet trend and ruffle some feathers by saying that I don't think that the story in Crimson Desert is bad. I think some of the storytelling is bad, but I think that a lot of the character interactions and stuff is pretty good, but not enough to carry the game. By no means. Like, no way.
Okay, to be fair about the story, considering it was a last-minute decision to make it, or what it even was supposed to be, I think it could have been a lot worse at the end of the day.
This is not a JRPG scenario. This ain't Trails in the Sky, boys. But anyways, that was one of the main criticisms as well. That led to a lot of negative reviews on Steam. That led to a lot of people talking about it, the usual things happening, talking about concurrent players, people just wishing for the game's downfall. And that only got worse when the undisclosed AI popped up.
By the way, this is a puzzle too hard for a lot of people who dislike Crimson Desert. I'm not kidding, by the way. Again, IGN, for 25% of people who played Crimson Desert, IGN was spot on about the yellow paint at the end of the day.
Now, I'm actually going to give a concrete opinion on this. And this is not about being on a Pearl Abyss defense force, because I do not care about them at all. I actually quite dislike a lot of the people that are
yes, great disclaimer,
public facing from Pearl Abyss. They claim that these were oversights, stuff that was used to set the tone for the art of the game early on and then just sneaked by, which is something that we're starting to hear more and more. Like Clair Obscur had that happen, right? And that was kind of believable then because it was them experimenting with it when it came out, and those assets kind of snuck in. And the assets kind of spoke for themselves as being quite early AI used. But we've seen it for other stuff as well. We saw Marathon, like with the whole stealing art situation, become...
Stealing art is a little bit different than, oh, this is early AI placeholders just so we know in which direction kind of the art needs to go. Okay? Stealing art and AI, similar, but not exactly the same, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, we didn't notice this. This was like quality control internally. We just didn't know who had put what assets in and where they were coming from. And now we have Pearl Abyss saying that they had used AI to set the tone for certain things and those slipped by. My opinion on this is that setting the tone by using AI doesn't seem like a smart thing to do ever, and seems like something that would negatively impact the quality of a game. However, them saying that these are leftover assets from a time gone by is, to me, 100% believable, because holy have I not seen AI this bad in a while. Like, it feels like the AI images in this game, not only do they stick out like a sore thumb, but their overall quality feels like they were done with DALL-E. Like, first publicly available versions of generative AI. So that's my take. Like, I do give them the benefit of the doubt because it is just so bad and so egregious that nothing else really makes sense. Doesn't excuse it, and it should be eliminated from it, and especially not disclosing it on Steam. I mean, that just hurts their wallet more than anything, right? Because a ton of people can put in 20, 30 hours into the game, and because they didn't disclose it, they can just apply for a refund and say it has undisclosed AI and get that refund, which, if you were thinking about it, you can. Just pester Steam, just say that it doesn't matter how many hours you have in the game, it has undisclosed AI, and you will get a refund. And that whole thing is, of course, pretty bad, pretty unforgivable, and to be honest,
I don't think anyone cares about the AI. Patches and updates. What are we even talking about here? Patches and updates. There's two types of gamers. My impressions of Crim, no one cares. Man, that's a long one, Jesus Christ. Okay, patches and updates. The updates are getting better, everyone knows this. Two types of gamers. There's the one that thinks IGN is not God, but then the one that is enlightened and probably a subscriber to my channel. You're a special smart boy.
video games today exist with two different variations. A game can either come out pretty much finished, pretty much perfect. It might get a couple of tweaks down the line, a couple of updates that fix some things, patch some bugs, but mostly it's a game that if you bought a hard copy, a physical disc or a physical cartridge, and 20 years down the line, no updates, no servers, the internet is gone, you started playing it, you would be getting the intended, ideal experience of it, and it holds up just like that. And then there are games that don't, whether it's because they're always online live service games of the multiplayer nature, whether it's games that come out broken and have developers promising that they're going to fix it or that they're going to release the content later on, whether that content is released and the game is fixed or it is never fixed, whether it takes years for that content to get there. A situation like Cyberpunk, which at launch, I played that game at launch, Cyberpunk was a disaster. I can't even...
Cyberpunk is the definition of a disaster, by the way. It was so... I only know two games that were so buggy, so bad that PlayStation pulled them off of their store.
And tell you from my perspective that Cyberpunk had the bones to be an incredible game at launch because it ran so poorly and was so full of bugs, game-breaking bugs, quest-disrupting bugs, that you couldn't play the game enough to really see the bones of it unless you were like extremely lucky, which I know some people were, but that's not how you should evaluate it. And now look at it. It's a masterpiece. It's incredible. But if I load in a 1.0 of Cyberpunk, that's not a good game. If I load in a 1.0 of No Man's Sky, which I do own on a disc, nothing to do with the game. And what I think is worth looking at here, and yes, being positive about, is that what Pearl Abyss is doing is the least of all the evils. If your game already falls into type B, into the not finished at launch, not going to be preservable through
I mean, technically, the game was finished at launch. Because what you hear about is not actually bug fixes and stuff like that. It's storage space. It's don't equip a helmet when you're diving into memories and shit. You know, it's quality of life features. So, on a technical level, the game actually was released finished, I guess. Never heard anyone complain about it. Like, yeah, sure, there are bugs, but I don't think I have heard of a major bug actually being reported, like anything egregious, anything cyberpunk style. I don't think that exists. I have not seen it, at least. Have you? I kind of doubt it, right? I kind of really doubt it. Because if there's one majorly egregious bug, there would be more, and people would definitely be talking about it. If you were Korean, Chinese, Japanese, you dislike the game not for bugs, not for, bad controls, but, for AI AI translations that don't work and sometimes tell you the wrong thing. Understandable, by the way, to be mad about that. Very understandable, in fact. But everything else, I don't believe it. Anyway. Interesting. Well, Crimson Desert. I don't know. I think the Crimson Desert train is gonna end with this. Anyway, that was Mug Thief. 10 out of 10. Bye.